We got the producer in the back like working overtime. You got to pay them time and a half these days.
And it's
Wow.
late. And it's late. Poor
And
guy.
it's after dark, man. We might do a 1-900 number eventually. Like we're always thinking of new ways to produce valuable content. Guru After Dark, guys. Robert Goldman, Chris Sauber, Darshan Kulkarni, and Monica Quetiva in traffic. You're at a red light. Now it's green. Good.
Monica, you're not driving, right? You're being driven.
She's being driven.
Okay, good.
She has a chauffeur.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
El Gato, Raul.
You guys hear me?
Darshan,
Yeah, yeah.
You have the
Okay.
best mic of all of
I,
us. Of
I,
course
I
we
have
do.
the people I have the people I wanted to talk to.
Who?
Somebody
Oh,
sent me
they're
a
still
question,
coming?
and I'm gonna. No, I mean you guys.
Oh, you're talking
I
about
have
us. Okay, I thought we were waiting for someone else.
no. Somebody sent me a question, and I was just like, "Oh, this is perfect for tonight."
Already? Okay. Well, Guru After Dark has no agenda. It's meant for us to relax and discuss like candidly the real stuff of the industry, right? Not just like what you're supposed to say. That we'd say that during the day, some more than others.
Mhm.
After
Dan, I just
dark,
want to
you
be
say what
clear.
you want, man.
I just want to be clear that because I'm such a huge Eagles fan, I wore this shirt.
Is that
I assume
equal?
this is the right color. I just have a color.
Yeah, that's not the right color, man. But
It's close. You know what? We're gonna take it. We're gonna comp this.
we'll take it. Go Eagles, man. And maybe the Rock Band. I think you're a fan of them, maybe.
Maybe.
Um, how's everyone doing? How's traffic, Monica? Looks like it's good.
Oh, actually, it's pretty good for for Florida, for California. Look,
Wow.
it's
Everybody's
just clean.
Oh, you guys are
everybody's been
moving.
laid off from the CROs.
Wow.
And sponsors, for that matter.
That looks wide open. Chris Sauber, how are you doing, man?
Doing well. Doing very
It's
well.
nice to see you. Robert Goldman, you came back from SCRS. It was like in your own backyard. How was it? Can you report back to those of us that don't go to conferences other than
Well, I
SOS?
mean, I wasn't an official attendee. I kind of was in the background, just met up with some people that happened to be in the area. It was good. It wasn't SOS, obviously, in my opinion. I'm not being biased, but that's just my initial impression. But I made some great connections. Met some really cool people. Big shout out to Eric from Creo. Big shout out to Lucas from the home health nursing segment of Syneos Health. Yeah, I mean, great. Listen, guys, I love our industry, and there's a lot of good people in there. And so, yeah, I mean, it was good. I didn't sit in any of the panels or any of the informative sessions. I just kind of went to the networking side of the event.
That's what it's all about. And you didn't go to the actual conference. You went to a bar because it was in your
Exactly.
area, which
Yep.
any of us would have done, probably.
Is
Darshan,
anyone
what
going
about you,
to the
man?
DIA?
Yeah, are you going to DIA? Isn't it in Philly?
No, DIA I believe is somewhere else right now. I think that it's in California actually.
No, that's Bio.
Next
I think
year.
Bio's in
I
California.
think Bio
Yeah.
and DIA. I'd have to double check, but I thought they were. I know DIA is not in Philly. I would have got it better not being
Brad's
Philly.
going to one of them in Philly. I don't know what Brad's going to. He was
Really?
on this morning. Yeah.
DIA DIA Global. Let's see where it is.
Darshan, if there's a good event going on in Philly, can you go and do a mini
San Diego.
vlog?
I was right. San Diego, June 16th.
San Diego, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Could you
San
go
Diego.
do a mini
Mhm.
vlog, like if there's a conference near you, and like film it?
Well, I'm actually going tomorrow to a conference. I'm speaking at a conference tomorrow on. I think tomorrow's is drug advertising. Next week is on clinical. No, next month is clinical research and drug advertising, and then the month after that is just drug advertising. So I think I have two research, two advertising ones. I can't remember which order. Because one of them is talking about AI, one of them is talking about research and compliance issues. Kind of a busy period for people right now because DOJ is sort of cracking down. But that's sort of normal for the DOJ.
Hmm.
But I am loving the brick background that
Yes,
Chris
Chris.
Sober brings to the table. It is the most nondescript background one can have.
Well, we're
I'm
just glad it's not like a black square. You know,
see. I'm
it is
actually
default.
excited. I feel like Osama bin Laden would have learned something from this, where he just went, you know what? My background's too exciting. I need something a little bit less exciting. And I just got
Something more
clear,
low-key.
clear background.
Is everyone here going to attend SCRS this year? Drake,
No,
the
not
answer
me.
is no. Not even those that live in Phoenix.
That is correct.
Some people are going. No hate here. It's after dark, though. I don't
Hey,
hate.
I'm sure it's great. I can't afford flying to all these places. Here's a question: how do you guys choose which conferences to go to unless you're sponsoring it or unless you're
Very
creating it?
easy. SOS. That's it.
That's why I said
SOS.
unless you're creating it.
Oh, even easier. None. I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
And Dr.
ACRP was
Goldman?
my last one. It's an hour and 9-minute vlog. It's gonna upload tomorrow, and that's
Okay.
it. I'm done for a while. I've seen enough, which is not much, honestly. And it's all about the people. It's not about the booths, the
I'm gonna
schmoozing.
give you a different version of my facts. I've been in your shoes, and I agree with you for the most part. But I think everyone's doing that now. So I think when I go to events, I think you can make a connection better than you could pre-pandemic, if you will.
Robert,
'Cause-
do you think what you went to yesterday is like worth? That was worth the price of going to SCRS, right? And you didn't even pay, but like just that 3 hours or whatever you spent at that bar, which was not even like official SCRS thing, was worth it to you? Like, do you actually think there's ROI from that 3 hours?
I
Not
do.
just that you had fun, but like ROI.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. To Darshan's point, I mean, this in person, touch is it's just you can't replace it. You can't replace it. Especially, you know who else I met yesterday? Just a lot of people that I've connected with and had sidebar conversations on LinkedIn. I don't want to say any specific names, but like just actually meeting these people in person. It's like the initial reaction is, "Oh, you're real? Yeah, I'm real. Like you're real? Like I'm a real person, you know?" So I mean, from that's just really, really fun. I really enjoy that aspect
Yeah,
of it. But
I agree. I
yeah,
went,
Monica.
yeah, so I went to the first investigator meeting in person, like face to and was amazing, like totally different than doing it digital. It's just, I mean, or um, through Zoom or electronic, it's not as engaging, it's not as motivating as having it in person.
Yeah, you get to like shake hands with people. I went to
Exactly.
the investigator meeting in Dallas, the last one I went to, and I kid you not, half the sites were big networks. So ever since, like, I've been going to IMs ever since '05. I remember there were coordinators like our coordinators, right? Like we are that kind of do it all, generalist. And these big site networks, they streamline everything. So these coordinators, like you try to have a conversation with them and they're like, well, I can't relate because I only do this. And like all day I just do this. It's like, well, you don't go out and get patient recruitment. You don't have diversity in your day. And then they're like, nope, we just do this and someone else does that. And then this department does this. And I don't know. I feel like you're taking the art out of what we do as sites a little bit with these site networks. But obviously it's business and there's smart money being poured into this space. So who am I, right? I'm actually exploring the waters too. Me and Chris, uh, with a potential sale of a site. So yeah,
Oh,
we'll see.
congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, nothing like official yet, but it's exploratory talks. There's a couple
Yeah.
Darshans involved. None on our side though.
Well, you know where to find the Darshan on your side.
Self-represented, man.
Okay. Okay.
Nah,
There is
that's
there
you
is
guys
only
hate
one
that.
Darshan.
No, no. Honestly, if you guys just need a non-regulatory lawyer, I'm happy to recommend a corporate guy as well for you guys. It's no hate. I want you guys to do well. That's the whole point.
Well, we appreciated Darshan. We're just kidding.
Darshan's got a guy for everyone. Like literally any niche like area that you would never expect somebody to specialize in, he's got a guy for you.
Do you have a
So
gas
that-
station guy?
I
No,
do.
no.
I own 2 gas stations, so yeah.
You have a gas
I
station guy,
own
or you
one.
do it yourself?
No, he's got one.
So no, I don't run my gas station. I have a partner who runs the gas station for me. The other
Okay.
one I gave back. I was losing so much money on it. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I was losing like 50 grand a month. It was that
Wow.
bad at one point.
What was the problem?
If you're not passionate about what you do, you shouldn't do it, and that's what my problem was.
Ah, okay.
Like
It wasn't,
yeah.
yeah.
that's not where my heart is. Like that's why I have managers to do it and everything. But I'm trying to. The 2 things I focus on are real estate, and sort of pharma and devices. Like that's my space, FDA and real estate. I mean, real estate's really more passive than FDA. FDA is just I love it every single day. So I write about it, talk about it, speak about it, sing about it, like whatever I can do.
The more regulation, the better, right, Darshan?
I sometimes it's easier not to because now you have to convince people the regulation exists. I'm still dealing with people going, "You're wrong about that MSO structure I was talking about." I'm like, I'm showing you the rules. You don't like the rules, I can't help you, but these are the rules. So that's always been fun. But I'm excited about that. I think the market. I'm curious actually. This is a question for everyone. I'm feeling like the market's turning. Like the
Don't
pharma
say it,
industry
man.
is
We're in the
opening.
middle. We're in the early stages of a deal.
No,
Don't jinx it,
in a
man.
good thing, in a good way direction.
Oh,
Is
in
what
a
I mean.
good way. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like nothing's happened on my side yet, but I feel like there are more conversations happening where people are
With the
going.
sites?
Well, see, I mean, in general, I think pharma
Okay.
in general was frozen for the last 9 months so far, if not longer. And I'm seeing people have conversations. I was talking to a friend of mine today. She's a pharma lawyer as well, in more of a patent lawyer, and she was telling me she lost like $1 million in business in the last like year, and but I feel like the market, like I'm having conversations which I couldn't get not that long ago. Sites I think are doing really well overall. I'm speaking to a few different ones, and I think that there's smart money behind it, but I think you need to organize it better. But I don't know if you guys are seeing that. I'm also seeing an influx of people who are chasing the money as opposed to actually being passionate about what they do.
Yeah,
So I'd
we
be
get a
curious.
lot of those.
I
Yeah,
actually been having better conversations. People are listening more.
yeah,
With the newest studies, I have noticed just that. With the sites, they're being more friendly. They like, for example, the investigator meeting that we attended 2 weeks ago. I even got the chance to speak with the scientist that wrote the protocol, and it was amazing. Like super. I mean, she was very generous with the information and very nice with everybody. So
Did you get her
I
business
I do
card?
I agree with that. Yeah, I do.
Me, Robert, Chris might need it
Oh, okay.
one of these
Okay.
days.
So she was one of those people that, I mean, the way she explained it, everything, it was very nice. But not just her, but everybody on the sponsor and the CRO, they were very friendly. Everybody was open to listen to the sites. Totally different than probably the ones that I went before, that everybody was in their little space, like the sites in one side, then the monitors in another side. No, in this one, everybody was mingling and talking with everybody, and then during the actual training and presentations, they were extremely open to listen to the challenges and all of that, and trying to find solutions. So I really enjoy it.
Well, there's still a lot of charlatans in the space. I see what Darshan was saying. Almost every day, some PE person that's just trying to be a middleman, and so far they've all been men. If for anyone that's curious, hey, we help these large site networks grow and buy, and then the buyers need representation, but it costs you like a couple points here, and then it
Right.
costs them a couple points, and it's like they don't even understand the space. Like, what are they going to advise me on?
Right.
And same thing with these tech vendors that have uh, PE guys behind it. Like, they don't understand. They want to pick brain, like it's something that I want to do. Like, okay, yeah, let's have an hour-long Zoom. One guy messaged me yesterday. I told him this would be a 10-year Zoom. That was my funny way of saying no. And he replied back, okay, so tomorrow what time works? I was like, what are you talking about, bro? I just said this would be like a 10-year long Zoom. Like, it's translation. It's not worth having a conversation. You don't know anything. Like, I'm not gonna
That's one
educate
thing.
you. The
Yeah.
videos,
So
my
I
videos to
misunderstood
educate you.
what Darshan was saying then.
Yeah. They're thirsty, man.
But now that you guys mentioned that, so that actually comes to the question that my student, former student from the CRC Academy sent me. So she is the director of a research site, and this site is belongs to a hospital. Okay, and then a new member of the hospital, which is higher like executive, came out with the idea that the principal investigators should be not paid for the research, that it should be on a how you say, like a
Charity.
um, yeah, like a commitment that they do research, so that way obviously the hospital keeps the money, right? And she was asking if that's unethical, and or if there is something that supports the PIs to be compensated. So when she asked me the question, the only thing I could think of is that when you're doing the contract and budget with the sponsors, it mentioned that the principal investigator is gonna get paid, right? So how is this possible? Like, how can somebody put the principal investigators to work without getting compensated? Is that even ethical?
Hmm. It's a nice way to frame not paying your PI. Hey, it's unethical. Well, maybe we'll try that next time with our PIs.
Do you guys have some answer for that? Like, how can they support the doctors in a hospital? Do they have to do it, or is a way for them, for the hospital to actually get away with not paying them?
Yes, the latter. I mean, I'm not an attorney. Obviously, Darshan and Robert, Chris deal with this a lot. The any employee of the hospital, which a physician would be, like in our area here in Yuma, the hospital's like the mafia. So we can't even go approach their physicians who have outpatient private practice because their contracts are so restrictive. It makes no sense to even approach them. Like, so they kind of put all these policies in place. Chris, you and I have a PI that we're not going to mention where, but it's an AMC. They have a bunch of restrictions on not only what they can do outside of there, but what they can post on social media. I mean, it's very strict. So if the hospital gets the study contract, they can say, well, all the money's for us. PI, we're paying you already. Do your job.
Darshan's got to speak up on this one. I don't have a clue.
I have been told to be more quiet, so I'm trying to be respectful. So
Darshan, I don't know who told you that, but I'm asking
Now's
you
the
a
time.
question.
Now's the
Now,
Please,
time.
now,
now's the time.
Darshan, reclaim
Okay,
your voice.
so a couple of things. So number one, um, in terms of the point you were making there, Dan, the idea that there are restrictive covenants, for example, in place with the new FTC rules. Remember, a lot of that changes. It's actually going to become very problematic for academic medical centers now if the FTC rule really does become active. And it's technically finalized, but people already sued on it.
If you're a private site, pray for this bill to pass because that's going to make your value skyrocket.
Possibly, because I didn't look at the rules specifically for this, but question is, when does a non-compete kick in? Is it after you leave the job, or is it while you're working as well? I have a feeling it might be, again, without checking, might be after you quit. So it enables movement of physicians, which is really great for Dr. Goldman. So he can quit and go to a different place without them saying, you know what, you can't do that. It came from in New York and stuff. What they noticed was people who are working like a Subway were being told you can't go work at the sandwich shop next door because you have trade secrets. And they were like, that's crap. You know what? Honestly, it is crap. So that's where it started from. But physicians are a little bit more complicated because you're getting surgeons who are being paid, I don't know, moving fee, and then $500,000 to come work in rural Idaho. And in exchange for all of that, these physicians are moving, but then saying, you know what, if I'm not restricted by a covenant, I'll just go next door and go work with someone else because they're now paying me more. So the logic is accurate. I'm not sure it's completely thought out. It's a little half-baked in my opinion, but we'll see. As it relates to the to recruiting I think physician recruitment, you have to worry about kickback issues and Stark law issues. So in the end, what the government's really trying to do is to make sure that the government doesn't pay more than they should. So you have to worry about things like physician self-referral, which is Stark. And essentially what that comes down to is, let's say he owns a lab or he owns a clinical trial site, and then he also works at the hospital. He can't start making referrals to the clinical trial site, which will get him more money. Depending on how that contract is set up, you might have billings that actually go to Medicare and Medicaid inappropriately so. So there are some logics there. You need to have controls and checks and balances in place. There are some ways to set that up appropriately, but it's often just cleaner not to, which is why the AMC might be pushing back. But that's often where that starts.
And by the way, folks, this is not legal advice.
Thank you.
Oh, let me put that
But
banner.
I have a question.
Darshan, one question though,
Yes,
to Monica's point. Like I think she asked, is it allowable in a circumstance where a physician works for an AMC, the AMC is awarded the study, and they're just simply not paid, and they're told to conduct the study?
Right.
I think that's what Monica's question was.
Right.
Is that, is that feasible?
Yes, it might be in certain situations. So, for example, a lot of physician contracts, the way the physician contracts can be set up is that you're getting a salary. That's all you get. And you get paid a lot of money. So a physician signing up. So anything, whether you're working on someone's board, whether you're working on a clinical trial or anything, all that money comes directly to the hospital. You're not allowed to get any of that money. It has to go to the hospital. That is, I would say, semi-routine.
Yeah, but my problem with that would be,
there's a good reason you have a problem with it. I'm not disagreeing with you, but yeah.
No, I'm just saying. But does the hospital assume the 1572 responsibilities on the back?
No, they will not.
There you go. That's my point. So if I was the physician, I would be like, I'm absolutely not doing this. Like,
correct.
you're 10xing my responsibility, right?
That's exactly.
It's
you're not incentivizing me to do more. Now, here's how they get around that. So, for example, you might have teaching responsibilities. And you go, you know what? If you want to teach at Harvard, good for you. You can teach at Harvard, but your salary comes back to us. As a physician, I totally understand why you'd go, I'm not going to do this. Why would I bother doing this? It's extra work that I don't get paid for. So the way they set that up is they go, you're responsible for teaching, active clinical practice, and something else, whatever that something else is, publishing, for example. And that combination is what your salary is based on. So if you're not doing any one of those three, we hold you responsible as well. So your clinical research may very well be part of it. So your 1572 responsibilities, for example, may very well be part of it because it was part of the original contract as set forth. And that's semi-routine as well.
Sorry to cut you off, Monica. What were you saying? I'm so sorry.
No. Thank you for actually explaining my question.
No problem.
No, I totally understand now. It's just that these doctors have been working for this hospital for a long while. Everything was paid. They had different agreements, and then all of a sudden, somebody new comes and say, "I don't think we're gonna pay you anymore. Now we're gonna go in this direction because in the previous organization I worked with, that's the way it was." So, and it's in a rural area, so it makes it a little bit more challenging, right? So maybe that
doctors too.
But that's exactly why the doctor was probably paid. So let's say the doctor originally studied in Philadelphia or in New York, and they got paid a lot of money to go from Philadelphia and New York to come to Yuma, for example. And I have no idea if it's Yuma or not. And the idea is that I'll pay you all this money to come here. Now, if you guys come out and say, you know what, we want to use that because now you're here, I don't blame you for wanting that because there are so few doctors you can pull from. But the hospital's thing is you didn't pay him to move. You didn't pay her to move. So I'm taking the cost of finding these people. The cost of recruitment for those people who don't know, it can be as much as 33% of a doctor's salary. So if you're paying him $500,000, you're basically paying the recruiter, what is that, about 166,000 plus or minus?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out
You
to
didn't
James
participate
Fowl.
in that part of it. Yeah. You didn't pay any of that, but now you want to get the benefits of him being here. And how is that fair to me at that point? Which is why the non-competes are going to become really complicated, because if I was a rural hospital, why would I justify paying someone to move here when they can just get up and move immediately?
Right.
Exactly. Wow.
All right. Well,
I'm enjoying that sunset behind Monica. Like it's
Right?
you know,
Very
LA.
tranquil.
The best view of LA is in your rear view mirror. Good job, Monica. She's going back to the Orange County, and there's LA in the background. Goodbye, LA.
Is that a Tesla? Or is someone driving the car? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
someone's driving.
No, yeah.
Okay.
My husband.
That's for those that don't
Ah.
recognize.
Oh, he's just making fun.
For those that don't recognize, that is our SOS MC,
Ooh.
right? Like that is.
I
where
knew
all-
it was. I
Yeah,
knew
he's-
it.
That's our SOS MC right there. He's got an MC Academy starting soon. You'll learn how to be an MC of the conference. Yeah, it's like a real thing. It's a real thing.
Oh, that's funny.
I have a
Anything
question
else
for
on
Dan.
you guys' mind?
I have a question for Dan.
Go ahead.
Because here's a question no one really answers. And or at least not enough people answer. And Dan's actually done this, so he can speak to it. How do you establish a powerful social media presence if you are a clinical trial site?
You just videotape as much as you can while using common sense.
I call bullshit on that because I've done thousands of those.
What do you
And I
mean
can't do it the
bullshit?
same way
That's
you
what
can.
I did.
No, but you're
How?
smarter at it.
But
Do you
you-
measure analytics? Like, how do you know? How do you do it right?
Nah, I stopped looking at analytics a while ago.
Really?
Honestly, Darshan, I make the kind of content that I think is fun, or else I would have quit a long time ago. So like the interviews are very easy. The interviews don't always do well. I know it will do well. Top 10 ways to become a CRA. But to me, that wouldn't be fun. But I guarantee a 1 out of 10 views on analytics doing that. So it's mixing it up a little. It's talking about like reality versus what you think sponsors want you to say. I think you just have to have your own opinion. And people have to respect your opinion even if they don't like it. I think that's what it boils down to. Like people want to see your opinion.
Also,
After a while, they care about you less than the subject, or more, a little more than the subject matter. But in the beginning, it's obviously the subject. So there's like a little bit of gamification in the beginning. You know, let's try to make content that people are going to gravitate to. But after a while, they start asking you questions, and slowly that evolves into like topics and themes that you know are going to work, and then that evolves into a look behind the scenes, and that evolves into vlogging, which 1 hour and 9-minute ACRP vlog is going to be uploaded Thursday. I think it's pretty interesting. Make some jokes here and there, like
My friend
Yeah, I
Kevin.
mean-
Kevin's message that we got to put him up.
I think getting Kelvin Peak, man, you're supposed to be on this thing. What's going on? We haven't forgot about you. Getting
Yeah.
visibility through disease network groups, that works too. The problem with like everyone, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but people think, okay, how do I gamify this? How do I make people watch? And then they start being too safe. Like and then it becomes an infomercial. Like, people don't want to watch that. People want real opinion. They want drama. They want like blooper, funny. They just want different things. And if you can wrap that into like educating, yeah, Kelvin's Corner. I don't know if that answers your question, but it's the honest truth,
It's a
man.
really
Like,
good
that's
answer, to be honest.
But how about for depending also the target? Because for example, for sites, what are you targeting? The potential patients or the sponsors or both,
okay. So
right?
the real reason I started Yuma Clinical Trials, because Chris knows when I moved here, I was just gonna work from home. You know, this was during COVID. Like, hey, Chris, I'm working from home here in Anaheim. Why not just rent my house out? Dora is down to be like closer to her family for a couple of years, and then we'll eventually move back. So I'm working from home in Anaheim. Why not work from home in Yuma? And then creating content. But the thing was, like, one of the main drivers of starting the site was I need content for the video. Like, let's document starting a site from scratch. And if you go to my channel now, there's a playlist of documenting my journey, and it'll be there forever unless I get banned, which is a whole nother topic. We had 2 strikes back in the day, not during COVID time.
What's that?
COVID?
No. Why did you have 2 strikes?
You trying to get my third, man? There was a 3 strikes.
No, but I mean, in general, like, is it from copyright issues? What was
No,
it from?
he just
Not
said some
copyright,
names.
bro.
He just said some names, and they heard a name, and it
Oh.
was just like boom, strike.
No,
Back
what-
to my opinion. Back to
Got
my
it.
opinion and others' opinions, and reading scientific
it.
literature that I guess didn't mesh well with the orthodoxy
Got it. Now
at
I'm
the
with you.
time.
Fair enough.
And they're, by the way, their days is here too. They're on stand right now. Actually, I was gonna get your thoughts on that, but I don't want to like get banned, man. But yeah, like, so you make, like, to answer Monica's question, to attract site owners, like, they're not gonna listen to someone that doesn't own a site. Like, they're gonna see right through that shit. There's only so much
Imagine that.
DEI shit you can say. Yeah, there's only
Imagine
so
that,
much
man.
DEI shit you can say. I
Wow.
know. That's a low hanging fruit. I didn't want to go there.
Here's
But,
the thing, though. Here's the thing.
yeah.
I think the one thing you do better than I do is I enjoy all the different topics. Like, I want to talk about clinical research. I want to talk about advertising. I want to talk about food. I want to talk about recalls. I want to talk about manufacturing.
Yeah.
And I help clients in every single one of these. And I think I struggle, for example, with going, who is my audience? Is my audience doctors? And I think the YouTube algorithm goes, I don't know who you're targeting. I can't provide you to the right audience. How do you
Probably.
recommend addressing that?
Maybe you might need like different channels, which is something I don't necessarily agree with, but
Yeah.
because it's you on all the channels, I think you should just put
Right.
them all in one place. I don't know. I just think you should like have more because I watch your stuff, Darshan. Like,
Yeah.
if I could be honest with you, this is after
Yeah.
dark.
Please.
I watch your stuff, but I feel like you don't put your opinion out there enough. You just put like the facts
Ooh.
and
Okay.
what you think people like is safe, not like your
Yeah,
actual
you're right.
opinion.
I do. But
I
like-
remember this because I asked you about China
right.
on this Guru After Dark, and you gave some bullshit answer of like, oh, I want to go to China one day.
Because attorneys are so calculated in the way that they answer questions.
Yeah.
And the
yeah.
purpose of After Dark, the whole reason we ever even started this After Dark, is to leave that behind.
So I'll tell you
And
my problem.
Come here, like, just candidly.
So
Like,
I'll
let
tell
it-
you the
let it
candid
go.
reason why I try not to give out answers. 2 reasons. Number one, I usually don't have an opinion.
You charge
think you have an
$800 an
opinion.
hour.
What's that?
You charge $800 an hour.
Well, not that part yet.
No, I'm
We'll
just
get
kidding.
there. Yeah, I have no problem admitting to what I charge. That's not the reason, though. When I give an
That's
opinion,
more than that.
I like to make sure that I've thought about the answer enough to be able to stand behind my opinion. Otherwise, it's just
Yeah.
a off the cuff bullshit answer.
Yeah, but
Or you
Darshan,
can
that's
change
the
your
thing, man.
opinion
Like,
later.
it's
Like
your
the way you
opinion.
feel
You
right
don't-
now is your opinion.
Yeah, you don't need to justify your opinion.
See, that's where I think I have to. But okay, I'll take that first part.
He's an
under
attorney, so he
consideration.
thinks it's like evidence in court later. Like if he changes his
Maybe.
mind, is like, see, I got you, man. Like,
Yeah.
That's
But I
exactly
get
the other reason.
Well, maybe Darshan wants to run for president. I mean, who knows? You know,
Shoot.
I would
Well,
do
then
that
you
as
better.
a very
Hey,
clear
you're on this
Like,
After Dark episode, and
pretty
you
sure-
said
That's exactly the other reason, which is as a lawyer, my job is to defend my clients. Now, if I'm in a situation where I've literally gone on After Dark or wherever and said, oh, this is the answer, and now I'm taking a different position in court, that's not good for my clients. So
Yeah.
that's why I have to be careful, because my words can be used against me all the time. So I have to stick to the facts.
I think, but all of ours can, Darshan. I mean, I think all of us, honestly, like really, I mean, especially, you know, those who are, I mean, look, why do we not see other sponsor level folks, you know, large, mid-sized pharma, biotech, CROs included? Why are these people like not coming on here? I mean, there's a few that do, and they take a risk. I mean, we have a very dear friend of ours in our circle that, you know, she's part of the SOS Alliance and whatever that's all say is. And, you know, she was not able to participate in certain things in her, you know, she was restricted in a sense. And look, every time I'm on here, I feel like I'm risking my future in clinical research to an extent. I'm being honest with you, right?
Yeah.
And I shouldn't feel that way. But I always give the caveat, the opinions of what I say are of my own and not my employer. And that's the truth, right? But you're right,
I am
but
my
Darshan,
employer. Yeah.
but to your point,
Yeah.
all of our words can be held against us at some point, regardless if you're a lawyer or not.
No,
I
the
get it.
difference
It's
is
in your
it's not
wheelhouse.
holding it against me is one thing. Holding it against my client is what I worry about.
I see.
That's
Yeah.
the difference.
That's
Yeah.
the harder part for doctors and attorneys, I think. I think it's in a ways like easier, even though I own a site. Like I was given advice 2010, don't do it. Don't do the YouTube channel. Pfizer's gonna sue you. That's what advice from an advisor I was paying at the time. And I've never been sued by Pfizer, but I've almost been banned from YouTube. So not quite. Look what's happened to Fauci since COVID. It's not new info. Helen, you're gonna get my third strike, right?
Helen,
We can't talk about Fauci. I love what you're saying, Helen. but
Helen's reading my mind. I was going to make a joke and say, "Hey,
I cannot
Darshan,
utter these words. I cannot
Darshan,
utter these words.
could you effectively defend Fauci at this point?" That was
Yeah.
going to be my joke question. But
Super easy.
super easy.
Super easy
Okay.
for Darshan.
It's evidence based. It's super easy. You don't have to agree with the evidence, but there's some evidence. It all comes down to what evidence you decide to believe.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm actually doing a presentation. I think you'll love this. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to bring up something that I think Dan Safara would enjoy very much.
I think the only part of Helen's comment I could read and not get banned is yada yada.
Yeah.
You guys can read the rest, okay? And I am
I'm
in
not-
the moderate camp. I'm in the
I just want to be
moderate
clear.
camp.
You cannot say yada yada because that's a violation of Seinfeld's copyright.
that's why you're on here, man. Kelvin agrees with Darshan.
my
Reputational risk.
This
Makes
is
sense,
probably-
makes sense.
This is probably my favorite podcast of all, After Dark.
The After
It's
Dark
just-
ones. I
you
mean,
guys are
shout out to
amazing.
Robert for the. Robert had the idea. We didn't know what we were gonna do with it, but we knew it was gonna be like a cold summer with the layoffs, people just chilling at home. You know, hopefully you guys get your ass back to work in the morning. We tried to do that. We tried to shake you guys up. Oh, I can't get a job. I applied to 400 places. Well, how many sites did you walk into? None.
Zero.
Zero, right.
What are you doing? Like 400? None. Okay, how about you go to some? Like, we got to change that, man. We got to change that. I know if you got laid off at a CRO sponsor, it sucks. Go work at a site, be a consultant, and then when the market comes back, go back. Doesn't mean
I'm
it's
going to
easy.
use and I'm going to use a quote that my our good buddy Joey Bose, big shout out to him.
Oh, shout out to
You know,
Joey. Cytonics.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, Robert, look, I tell people all the time, when the tide rises, the boat rises. you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so people who build boats stay afloat. I mean, right? That was
Shout out to
the intro
Fabulous.
song. Yes,
Yep.
shout out to Fabulous. I mean, this is the thing, you know. I mean, yes, this is a very cold summer. People are hurting. People are struggling. They've been out of work 4, 5, 600 days, not by choice, you know. And I feel for these people. And man, I wish I could hire each and every one of them, or you know, lean a shoulder to cry on type of a deal too. But at the end of the day, you have to help yourself. And when you rationalize and you start coming up with defense mechanisms internally to rationalize why you are where you are, I've done this, I've done that, and you're occupying your time by employing, you know, career coaching coaches who aren't even, you know, like it's just it's a false sense of hope, and you're giving yourself a defense mechanism. Whether you can look these things up, I don't want to get too into the weeds on mature and immature defense mechanisms. We all use them, whether you're conscious about it or not. The point here is that you have to help yourself. And when there's a will, there's a way. So if people are loaning you money, or you're taking out loans, or you're going to family, or you're taking donations, then there surely are other ways to remedy whatever roadblock you may have in front of you that's preventing you from getting out of the house and or showing up at the doorstep of a site like Dan's or Monica's or Chris's. Like telling me or telling somebody I can't do it because I can't leave my house, I'm chained here, is just not a great excuse. If you have people who support you and loan you money, for example, to help pay your bills, maybe those people would be willing to take an extra step and help you get out of the house, whatever that roadblock may be. First thing that comes to mind is, let's say you have a child and you can't, you know, afford childcare. Well, I'm sure one of your friends or somebody in your support system that you trust would be more than happy to watch your child for an hour or two while you're out, and you make arrangements, you figure it out, you know. But to do the same thing over and over and over and expect a different result, come on, team, everybody at once, is the definition of
Stupidity. Do you say? I forget what the right one is.
insanity.
Insanity.
Insanity. The other one.
Right? That's what. So, you know, I mean, and that's the thing. So, you know, yes, it's very challenging. It's very difficult, and you know, I think very empathetic to all these situations. And I constantly get people messaging me just from that, you know, that one Guru Nation After Dark episode we did, Dan, where we got
Where you helped
connected with Kellen. Yeah.
Kellen. Shout out to
Kellen
Kellen.
Battles.
And now he's
Yeah.
asleep because he's got to wake up tomorrow for work.
He
you know?
he had listen, he had 2 offers, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm sitting there on the phone, like I was literally on the phone with him as another offer came in. It was unbelievable the way that the planets and stars aligned. And man, like I got the goosebumps, guys. I'm telling you, because I was just like, look, he didn't have to pay some career. He just needed to work on his story. What matters, you know? No,
Yeah.
people don't necessarily care that you are a medic or you are a personal trainer or you did, you know, this. It's like you have to fine tune your story. You're in charge of your destiny. And you know, it's kind of like, let's check the egos and excuses at the door, and let's, you know, go get it. When there's a will, there's a way. If you have to bite the bullet and make 60 grand a year for the next year, it's better than nothing, right?
I love
And-
Goldman.
Absolutely.
Robert
That's
Goldman's a
totally the
man.
best, the best
Yeah.
advice. I mean,
I
the
mean,
magic happens outside the box, right?
Exactly,
If you stay in
exactly.
the box, you're never gonna find it.
And
when you
talking
have
about
this-
problems.
Yeah,
Right
and
on.
when you have this, sorry to interrupt, Dan. When you have this sense of entitlement, like, oh, I have 20 years of industry experience, the world doesn't owe you anything. Nobody in this industry owes me anything because of the blood, sweat, and tears that I've given it, right? Like, I can't have this expectation that because I have these titles and these credentials and these companies I've worked for, that I should just automatically be able to walk into the door. There are thousands and thousands of super, super talented people in our industry that are out of work, folks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, so I mean, how dare I expect that I should get any type of preferential treatment over these folks that have double the amount of experience that I have? So I mean, I'm saying all this to say that everybody has a story. Everybody has a You know, my dad always used to tell me, Rob, everybody's got a story on the way to Hollywood. And he's not wrong, you know? I mean, but on the other hand, people also have stories in which, you know, may make you feel one way or the other. But that's not going to help your situation, you know? At the end of the day, it's kind of a cruel world out there. Companies do what they have to do for them. You know, everybody talks about this family culture, family. Well, families don't fire you. Families don't lay you off, right? You always have an open door if you're part of a family. They don't vote you off the island, for an example, right? They're not cutting to make sure that they're delivering profits to their shareholders. This is the true reality. And I think that's why a lot of entrepreneurial people who were previously not entrepreneurial, AKA be me, myself, I'm a perfect example, is having this entrepreneurial spirit, because quite frankly, I'm tired of worrying day to day on whether or not I'm going to have a future at any organization, because they may just wake up and decide in the background they've been talking about restructuring, and you happen to be impacted. It's no result of you as a person or your abilities. It doesn't mean you're incapable. And people take it that way. Now I have to worry about employment gaps, and people are questioning my ability, and why do I do this and why do I do that? And it's just a real shame, guys. I got to tell you, this is why I love After Dark, because we can talk about things like this, and hopefully people, it's like resonating with them. It sucks. And I feel bad for these people because they're just so talented. They're smart. They're brilliant. They're outside of the box thinkers, but yet they don't get a shot because they're working with some low level recruiter who's not passing them on. Or there's even some type of conspiracy theories that I actually heard this morning, Dan, that the algorithm is broken. Like, come on, guys, really? Like like I heard this morning. I'm like, I mean, this is how bad it's getting, right? Where people are starting to think the algorithm is against you, and there was an AI, you know, thing that's weeding out people with more than 10 years experience. I mean, come on, really? Like, this is insane at this point, right? Not to disparage anybody who said that. I don't even know who you are and who said that. I was listening auditorily when somebody had mentioned that. But again, if you're starting to go down that road, I think you need to recenter, give yourself a woosah moment, bring yourself back to center, and kind of like reevaluate. Right? It's not an AI algorithm. It's not, you know, the ATS system kicking you out because you're too experienced.
Right.
It's just the fact that there's less positions available for those type of high level people. That's
you know
really
who's
what it boils down to.
behind. You know who's behind those AIs is a human that programmed it to do that.
Not quite.
So go
Not
ahead,
quite.
Darshan.
No. I don't want to interrupt, Dan. I'll talk after you're done.
No, I'm done. I'm just AI. The market is the market. The market doesn't give a fuck what you feel, what you think, what I feel. Forget everyone else.
Dan,
Market
can
don't
you
give
put
a shit.
Helen's comment up real quick?
Yeah. It was just blocking Darshan and Chris. Tell
Just
you
real
what.
quick. But the point is, look what
Helen.
she's telling you.
Yeah, here's what Helen said. Tell you what, I don't do a lot of hiring, but if a parent came in with their child in tow because they didn't have childcare or couldn't afford it for an interview, I'd be more inclined to hire them.
Can we get a round of applause for Helen?
Yes, I think I would. I'm more inclined to do that
would.
too because it shows me hunger. Chris, Darshan, what do you think? You guys are both employers too.
So I have 2 responses to that. 3.
Let's
The
go.
first one is, I think right now, especially, I think, like I said, I think the momentum may be turning, but in the last couple of months, I have seen people be a lot pickier than they were before. So, for example, I heard someone saying that if I heard recruiters specifically tell me, I'm in these meetings. Recruiters specifically said, if you use pronouns in your LinkedIn, you're not getting onto my list anymore. So whether or not you agree, that's already in there. That's a bias that exists. We'll take another one. There was literally a post. The DOJ sued this company. They literally said only white men can apply.
Wow.
And the
Who did?
reason
It wasn't in
lost,
research.
No. The reason they lost was because they were a federal contractor. which is a violation of federal law.
Wow. That's terrible. I mean, that's
So
yeah.
I'm not saying that the person who says that they're excluding for experience is accurate, but there are horror stories out there. I think those are more the exception than the norm, but they exist. I think the other part, to the point you were making, Dan, a few seconds ago, which is the computers the AI was programmed by humans. The problem is we don't actually know how AI works. You feed it a bunch of data, and the truth is that the data comes out. We know that this is a problem with the AI right now. It is biased because we're feeding it biased data. It's garbage in, garbage out. In fact, it was so much of an issue that Google had to place a thumb to basically say, look, we want you to have a diversity of opinions. We want you to put out diverse results. The problem with that was when you did a search for Nazis, it would show Black Nazis. It would show Japanese Nazis. So the idea is that there's no easy fix to it, but there are real problems. And for every person who will mouth the words that I only want a white male to be applying for this job, there are thousands of people who don't say those words because they're smart enough not to. So it's a rough world out there. And here, let's flip this around. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we saw employees do the exact same thing. So let's not pretend that this didn't happen the other way, where they were like, if I don't get paid $19 an hour, if I don't get paid $150 an hour, I'm not going to take the job. It's just the shoes on the other foot right now. So
very true. Very true.
The demand and supply, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
What do you think, Chris?
In regards to what Darshan said or what Helen said, you got two different topics here.
Both.
Well, Helen, I'm more inclined to offer an opinion. If I were in HR and somebody came in with their child, it would depend on the position itself whether or not I would see that as a problem. If I'm absolutely dependent upon this person I'm going to be hiring, I probably wouldn't hire somebody that came in with their child. I would see it as they're going to have difficulties getting in and doing the job. If I have a more flexible position, yeah, I would say, okay, this person's a go-getter. They're going to come in even though they lost their babysitter or whatever the case might be. It would just depend on the position I'm hiring. It would, and how
can afford one.
Yeah.
But the problem becomes if I absolutely am going to be reliant upon this person, and it's unfortunate, I need that person, right? And if they're going to be calling in on days because they can't get a babysitter and calling off, and I'm dependent upon that person, I can't have that.
But maybe
it's
they
just
are
unfortunate.
showing, but maybe they are showing that they are truly committed, that it doesn't
Absolutely,
matter.
Monica. But the problem is what happens when you hire them and they're doing this once every other week, and you're dependent upon the person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a difficult situation.
It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be, if you're going to run a business properly, sometimes you have to make tough decisions, and I completely agree. If your business is flexible, I like what this person's demonstrating, right, by bringing in their child regardless. But if I can't sacrifice my business to be good natured.
I agree with Chris. I agree with Chris, but I have one, additional aspect that I would ask Chris to maybe consider. I personally would just have a conversation, and then because you don't really know what that particular day is in store, and if we just assume that this particular day that
absolutely.
So
I would ask.
Right. So I think then Chris, you would have the conversation. Right?
Yeah, I would. I'm just saying if I got the impression that this is going to be an potential ongoing issue, I wouldn't hire the person.
I'm going to challenge it a little bit just to give Chris some cover, because I feel like it's easy to hate on Chris's answer, but the truth is a lot of people would make exactly that decision. To answer, here's my question: how would you actually know, like on a day that's an interview, which is important, and the interviews don't get scheduled with no notice, so you had notice. The truth is things happen. We all know things happen. But the truth is I have only one 15-minute conversation to judge you by. That's what I have so far. You are placed in a position where you're going, I had to bring my baby in. And I think about that example from what was the Will Smith movie where he took his son along? Like
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. There you go. Thank you. Like I loved watching that movie. It was such a badass moment, and I loved it. Your gut feeling, yeah, and that's the thing, Uma. I think you can only go according to your gut feeling, and I'm not definitely not saying that discriminate against people, but on what basis do you go? I have two people who came in for the job. One person who was able to manage their schedule, one person who wasn't. If you only had one person show up for the job, that's easy. But if you have a choice of 2, 3, 4 people, you're going to almost be random. And anyone who has anything against them is going to get knocked out just because you need to knock people out in some way. So how is that going to work?
Yeah.
That's difficult. That's difficult.
very, yeah.
I mean, it's in that case, it's like Huma says, your gut feeling, because or your judgment is nothing. I mean, and even your judgment can be detrimental sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's a lottery. Hiring somebody is a lottery. And even if you have a very good
but if you were at the you were at the SOS conference. Judy gave some good advice on hiring.
Exactly. So she did. No, it's actually.
I was on that panel.
I was going to
Yes, you
mention
were.
that. Yeah, I was going to mention what Judy said and what Judy does. In fact,
Personality
she has a great
test.
team.
Darshan
She
said
has
it's illegal.
great team. She has
Yeah.
a great team.
Talk to a good employment lawyer. I am not an employment
I
lawyer.
ain't touching that one.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
I may or may not do what we said on that panel.
Dad, I guess you even mentioned this in a podcast that soft skills are the best thing to go.
Soft skills are the best skills.
Because the rest of the skills you can build it.
But you know
you can
what?
build
Like,
a great team player. I mean, or a great part of the team of somebody that has great soft skills rather than somebody.
Excuse me, thank you.
Bless you.
Yeah, but
rather than somebody
soft
that don't
skills.
have soft skills.
for
I'm
sure.
going to
But
ask you a question about that. I think that's within reason, though, right? Would you? People always talk about soft skills, and people always say, you know what, hire the guy who went to philosophy school and has a philosophy degree. And I'm not saying that that's not a bad thing. It's not a valid school of
Nah, we don't
thought.
want the philosopher. There's only one person doing the
No,
philosophizing
for
in
me,
this company.
so when you talk about soft skills, it's more like the personality, or somebody that we know is a people. Like, for example, for a site, I don't want somebody that is grumpy, or somebody
No,
that is
hell no.
mean to other people, or somebody that doesn't
What if
like
he's
to
the world's best
interact.
accountant?
Huh?
I want my accountant to be slightly like depressed and slightly wants to stay in the back room.
Aggressive.
Nah, I don't want them
Yeah.
depressed. No, they need to be manic when it's time to do our shit. Look,
Yeah, I
this
would
stuff
like.
sounds crazy.
Yeah.
This stuff, it's starting to make sense. Like during this, when Darshan was talking about randomness and Monica's talking about soft skills, it boils down to, and this sounds like kumbaya, like sit around the fireplace, the company's values and mission statement. And like, if you don't have one, that means it's the owner value system. Like, ultimately, it's the decision maker. At the bigger companies, they actually have mission statements. So if in part of that mission statement is we want to provide like a good working opportunity for single moms or moms with kids, it's not random anymore. You have some guidance to go, okay, I'm gonna go with this person.
How many people do you think look back at their value statements afterwards?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have one. I'll be honest with you, McClellan Charles. I don't have one, but it's me. I'm the value statement. Like, it's what I go by. But if it were bigger, we would have one, and then that would help us make these tough decisions, so it wouldn't be random anymore.
My one is similar to Dan's. It's like basically, for me, it's like everything is about giving people opportunities, and not just closing the door. I mean, it's like, for me, it's not just looking for somebody that has the most amazing background or the most amazing experience, when I don't have that person that fits in my team. and I will be more than happy to give somebody the opportunity when I feel they will fit my team.
But I think that's the point. I think certain skills matter more than others. And for example, I want my accountant to have attention to detail. I want my storekeeper to just be a really happy person who can keep people engaged. I want my nurse to be able to keep records properly. Like I don't care if you have a very, very happy personality as an accountant. I'm happy for you and keep doing that. But I value certain other skills.
But it's helpful as a waitress, right? So it depends on the position.
Exactly my point.
Depends on the position.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, depends on the role and depends on the company. On the company, how you call this? The cultural, the culture that the company has.
I love Uma's comment, by the way. Throw that one up.
But at the same time, Darshan, you don't want to have somebody who's like chewing you out every time you call them and making you feel like an idiot, right?
Absolutely.
You don't want that either.
Absolutely.
So there is a happy medium.
1,000%. 1,000%. I don't need to qualify that. But I think this is a really good line Uma has actually put out. The only skill set I care about.
Soft skill is most important is if shit happens, they should have a skill to clean it. I like that. I love it.
Very nice.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I would add one more skill to that, just to be clear. The other skill I want is don't let shit happen.
Well,
that's another one.
How about break things quickly, like some of these tech companies?
I don't like the tech company break things quickly. I think it's the antithesis of the medical, of the pharma world. The medical device and the software world is break things quickly, fix it. I think human lives are, in general, do it right the first time.
That's right.
They're completely valid opinions in both scenarios, but I think if my Windows shuts down, it'll suck, but I can get over it.
Yeah.
If my heart stops beating, I care a little bit more.
So the context matters the most. You know, you can answer these things in a vacuum.
I think you need to get Uma on.
Uma, you gotta get. I met her at the investigator meeting, and we didn't do a video. Uma, oh no, we did a podcast later. Yeah, we did a Zoom, but we need to get her back on. She's amazing. Darshan, what is this you are sharing?
Oh, so you were actually asking about
you are not a horse or a cow.
This is actually a tweet from the FDA. You're not a horse, you're not a cow. Seriously, y'all stop it about using ivermectin to treat.
Right. Yeah, we remember this. You're trying to get me banned or what?
No, I'm just reporting the news. You did tell me I report the news.
So what is the point? Like, what's your side on this? Let's go, Darshan.
My side on this is I actually support the First Amendment. And I love it. Okay. I think that the doctors were wrong in preventing people from speaking about whatever they truly believe. I also think that the evidence simply doesn't exist for ivermectin. I stand by that statement. There's no evidence that it works for whatever everyone's claiming. And I know you take it, Dan. So despite that, I don't think it works.
I have it here somewhere.
Yeah, actually, I have to send it. You showed it to me in the last one.
Yeah.
But the fact is that just because I don't like it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to share the news, because that's what the First Amendment stands for. If I can't stand for your right to speak when it truly matters, then I shouldn't have the right to enforce the First Amendment. What's the point of that? It's not just like everyone gets to agree. To me, that's bullshit.
Darshan, I'm loving this, man. I feel like such a level up. Like thank you for speaking.
Darshan,
I want an attorney that speaks his mind on YouTube, damn it.
Yeah, but
thank you for this.
Today I talk about representing sites. Tomorrow I represent sponsors. The day after I represent CROs. If I start bad-mouthing any one of them all the time, I'm not going to have any clients.
And that's what makes it cool is when you don't care.
Yeah, but he does care, and
I do care.
I care too. You care.
have only one audience though. Your audience is sites. You don't actually give a shit if sponsors don't like you. I mean, they have to work with you.
What are you talking about? I need studies. Where am I going to get them from? Sites? Sites are not giving me studies.
Yeah, but sponsors like you for actually doing the shit that you're doing anyways. So for you, any news is good news. In my case, any news can be bad news.
Sites like the Latino patient. That's why I'm in business. But no
Fair
one
enough.
wants to come to Yuma. No monitor wants to come to Yuma. So yeah,
How far
Robert's
is Yuma
loving this.
from everything?
3 hours from everything.
Really?
45 minutes from Mexico.
Really? I didn't know that.
It's 2 hours and like 30 minutes from Phoenix. I drove,
Yeah.
I did the drive from Phoenix to Dan's site before. It's really not that bad. And then you're halfway between, once you're at Dan's site, then you're 2 hours to San Diego.
Yep.
So is Dan basically like the Mexican cartel, just the U.S. side?
Yes,
Got it.
exactly. Yeah,
You
told
got
him,
it.
like,
You
yeah,
got me.
I mean, they used to have the
Latino
Latino
railroad, the
research.
underground railroad. He's like the underground railroad for illegals.
Listen, those containers that you may have heard about on the news were in Dan's backyard.
he's the Romanian
We
cartel.
actually
I think he still has one actually in the backyard.
We got the
as a
container.
remnant.
6th level of hell. I love it.
Yuma is
What
the
is the
6th level.
seventh?
of
Where
hell.
is the 7th level of hell?
7th level for traitors.
No,
Yeah.
I thought that there's like San Diego is the 7th level,
Oh,
but no.
well,
my
that's
Diego's
gosh.
so Dan intends to move to San Diego, so he's going to move from Yuma, the 6th level, to San Diego, the 7th.
Leveling up.
He wants
Yeah,
to get
leveling
deeper and
up.
deeper.
Leveling up. We just keep digging until we get to
I'm
the
still
bottom.
confident we'll be able to change Dan's mind, but I'm not going to bring that up right now.
Phoenix. I don't know. I feel like Dan will be able to buy 1/3 the size of his property for twice the amount of money when he moves to San Diego.
Dan is balling.
It's probably
what are you
accurate.
talking about? Dan's
Probably
got like 80 studies going on right now.
Dan's a baller. Let's be honest. We all know
Yeah,
No,
Dan's a
that's
baller.
Brad.
100%.
Brad's got the 80 studies. But we
But
are
if you
dealing with
think
some
about
buyers.
it, if you think about it, San Diego is closer to heaven, so the sky has a price.
Yeah. 70 degrees at all time. Helen, are you from Phoenix? We may need to meet up. I'm in Phoenix a lot. In San Diego a lot. This was a decent after dark, guys. We had a strong turnout towards the end. I think Robert, with the pep talk, I think that's like a short right there. I think Darshan gave a lot of good stuff too. And
I tried to be quiet. I promise.
Today,
No,
I felt
you were
I've been
great.
on Tony Robbins events a lot.
oh yeah, Robert's gonna
I
make you
love
walk
it.
on hot coals next.
No, seriously, people need that conversation sometimes because I mean, yeah, like Dan says, it might sound like a pep talk, but I'm sure a lot of people needed to hear this tonight, and I'm sure a lot of people needed to hear what we talk about tonight.
Exactly. And it's not always great to hear, and it's sometimes tough to hear. And, people may disagree, people may agree. That's the beauty of freedom of thought. And you can subscribe to whatever side you want to be. But, at the end of the day, I wish everybody success, health, happiness, and much abundance in life. I mean, I want everybody to be well and happy. That's really
So
my vision, right?
why don't we end on this question for everyone? Why is everyone, and I'm sure every industry has this, but I guess part of Darshan's question to me kind of inspired this. Like, why are people afraid to speak what's on their mind? Like, and not to the point to be rude, because you do have to have a filter in social settings. Like, you can't just offend people. But like to actually speak your mind, why is it so hard for people to do it publicly?
Fear of retribution.
Yeah, judgment.
Fear of
But
retribution.
how do we get around that as in our industry?
Don't care.
You have to get to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
care what people think. No,
I agree. Or Dan, like you and I were talking on text earlier. I'm not going to repeat the the verbiage you and I were using, but you have to have a certain level of, you have to get to a certain level, to Chris's point, where you just don't care. And there's a tool that you and I talked about that you use, right? You know what I'm talking about now?
I think we all know what you're talking about.
Okay, great. Well, and you have to get to that level where the tools you use no longer control you. You control those tools to enable you to do the things you want to do.
So,
And that's the
Ah,
level you have to get to.
you're
You-
talking
now
about
you-
fuck you money.
yeah,
so
thank you.
well, not
I
precisely.
was
but-
trying to think what do you
So, to Darshan's point, right? I mean, wouldn't you rather, instead of people tricking you into who they are, actually know who they are? I mean, freedom of speech, right, is there for multiple reasons. I mean, I'm not going to go into that, but I would rather somebody's honest with me so I know where I stand with them, opposed to feed me a bunch of lines and I have no idea who you are.
That's your personality, Chris. That's all you. Chris is
Well,
a
it's more the golden rule too. I mean, I'm
no,
gonna
I
be
love
honest
that.
with you. Just be honest with me too. I'm being
That's
honest
my
with
favorite.
you.
That's my favorate thing about you. I
So
have
that's a
to say
social
it.
contract.
I'll tell you this, Chris. I'm honest with the people I need to be honest with, but I
Sure.
don't need to be honest with the opposing side.
You're in a position where it's difficult for you
Right.
to speak your mind. That I understand that, Darshan.
Okay.
I'm really alluding to more just in general, just conversationally, right?
I agree with that. I don't have time for bullshit for the most part. But I do like to make sure that I actually can stand by my opinion, or at least understand why I have a certain opinion. Because that bothers me when someone just throws out an opinion and something as simple as Trump good, Biden bad, or Biden good, Trump bad. Why? Why do you have that opinion? It's like that's what I saw on TV. To me, that's a bullshit argument. Like if you have an actual opinion for it, I can respect you for that.
Sure,
But I don't like
agree.
people with that opinion. So since I can't respect you for that, I have to hold myself to the same standard. And that's what comes up to me.
But that's smart. I like that. But I always thought I didn't know why in my mind. And forgive me if this is if you might not like it. Probably you do like it. I don't know. But I always thought that like I see Darshan in my mind like this guy Pat, the one that talks about
Pat Stone?
Patrick?
This guy, Patrick.
Pat Bet David. Darshan is Pat Bet David?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know who that is.
Because you have a strong point, and in my mind, you remind me of him, or him remind me of you.
I don't know him, so I assume it's a compliment. So thank you.
I think it's a compliment. But,
if it's an insult,
I don't know.
it's an insult. Fuck you.
Either way, Darshan thanks you.
I mean, the way I'm saying it is a compliment.
Thank you.
Because you don't.
Who's this guy now? Pat
You
who?
don't say,
PBD, man. Everybody knows PBD.
so he speaks with properly. I mean with property. So whatever he says, it has he has something to back it up with. He's not talking just to talk.
Right, exactly.
He's well
But I still don't know who
researched.
he is. Pat who now? PBD. It brought up Pat Benatar, which is not right.
Patrick Bet David.
Bet David. Okay.
He's all right. He's all
Some
right.
money.
I
Got
love
it.
to hear his.
Oh, I
podcast.
know him. Okay, fair enough. I'm with you now.
Yes,
Yes, I actually like the guy. Listen to him.
Darshan's like, that's my doppelganger. What are you talking about?
He's an immigrant.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's from Iran.
Is he from Iran? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Entrepreneur. So yeah, I mean, we covered a lot. Anything else you guys feel you need to get off your chest?
Can I put something to live?
Yeah.
What would you do if you were somebody that lost your job? What would you do different than everybody else to find a job in research?
I wouldn't find a job. I'd do something different altogether. I'd start my own company.
Okay, in which area?
Right now, I'm trying to do it in technology.
So let's say you're not a lawyer. You're working in research
I'm
for
saying
10 years.
Yeah, but I would find the one thing I'm good at. So let's say I am really good at responding to monitor findings. I would make an entire business model off of just that. And the truth is, people who Uma goes, "You're smart." My experience is that people pay for experts. I don't want to know that it's the what's his name, Bruce Lee thing. I don't fear the guy who's done 1,000 kicks one time. I fear the guy who's done one kick 1,000 times. So if you are the best person in the world to set up pharmacies inside clinical research sites, that's all you do. You know what? That's what you do. If anyone needs to set one up, they're going to call you because you're the only guy who does it and does it well. And I'll give you a shout out to Kelly Willenberg. Kelly, I don't know if you guys know who that is. Kelly does clinical research site, basically decides what is standard of care, what's not, and helps set up that structure. She does that across the country. She's incredible at it. If someone has a question, they will call Kelly first. It's a super small niche, but she's built an entire business model around it. She has tons of people working for her. And I saw her start from one person. So find a niche, dominate it.
Yep.
How about you, Chris?
I don't know if I have any advice for this one, Monica.
He moved to Idaho, become a
For
prepper.
you, you did it actually in the past.
Oh, I did. Oh, I did
Yeah.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
so you can prove yourself if that's what you're referring to, right? You can offer your services for free for a short while, if that's what you're referring to. So,
How about
yeah, I mean that definitely can work.
that's actually both of you guys' advices is great. How about you, Robert?
You know, Monica, honestly, I would probably go back to I have aviation training. You can look me up on the FAA Airman database. You'll see my ratings. I'd probably go back and become a commercial airline pilot, to be honest with you. I'm currently a private pilot with my instrument ratings. But, I think I would completely pivot industry, to Darshan's point, do what I love. Not that I don't love this. It's just so messy. And I encounter so much laziness, and I hold myself to an insanely high standard that, I kind of mistakenly expect out of other people, which is a problem that I have to deal with. I'd probably pivot. If I couldn't get another job in this industry, to something else that's, it may not be as lucrative, but I probably would just, do what makes me happy. Life is a little bit too short. And, if I'm blessed enough to be in this industry and get a good run at it for however many years, I'm allowed to be in this industry, and great, I'll keep it going. But if I woke up tomorrow, to your question, and I'm not able to get a job and things like that, I would just do what makes me happy. Life is too short. Money's not worth it. Your mental health is important. Your well-being is important. And just I don't know, just do whatever happens. I don't know.
Can I add on to what Rob's saying?
Please.
So a few different things. So number one, I would point out the fact that I would do it. I think you should be preparing for that day from the day you get your job. So, for example, and you should be upgrading your skills to the point Chris was making. You guys know me as a lawyer. You guys know that I have a pharmacy degree, so I can go back to either one of those jobs whenever. This moment, I'm actually learning to be a broker for sites to buy properties and the like. This moment, I'm a national level fighter. I train people. I teach people as we speak in judo. This moment, I teach at Drexel University. I teach food and drug law. But my point is, I've been teaching for 3 decades at this point. So you don't wait till the job market changes for you to be applying for another skill set. You should already have been ready. You should be able to pivot. I choose not to pivot because I find what I do. I love what I do. Hell, if I really wanted to pivot, podcasting. I mean, Dan and I have been doing this since freaking 2009, before video was a real thing. Did we record on video, Dan, or did we do audio at that point?
No, video is easier than audio. We never figured out a smooth way to do video.
Or to do audio. That's the answer for that, by the way. But I'll tell you about that later.
Thank you, Uma. Thank you, Uma, for what you just said, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. And here's the other thing to Uma, by the way. She said that she wants to set up aesthetics. I actually just recorded a podcast with another friend. I think it releases tomorrow, possibly, on setting up med spas and what it takes to set up med spas. So that'll be releasing soon as well. So tune in for Darshan Talks. I was not trying to make a pitch for my
No,
podcast.
I loved it. You know
Love
what?
it.
I actually read the other day. I don't remember in which where did I read that? But it was, I think it was Fortune 500 or something like that. That they say that in the past you needed to have one new skills to be competitive every 3 years. Now it's every 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
A new skill every 8 months. So they were saying that if you use 30 minutes every day to get to work or to read on that new skill in 1 year, you will be an expert basically.
Yeah.
So very nice advice.
And Monica,
Uma
what
said
about
tag
you
me.
though? What about you,
I'm waiting
Monica?
for Dana, and then I will say mine.
Oh, okay.
One
Mine's
thing,
easy.
Uma said tag me. I don't know if Uma, if you're connected, just add me so I can tag you. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Uma's someone to get to know. For everybody, by the way. Same with Alicia. Alicia was on this morning. She's on after dark. Alicia out here grinding, and she's someone who's doing what we're talking about right now
Hi,
too.
Alicia.
Monica, you know her too.
Big shout out to
So
Alicia. I watched her grind this morning and it resonated. I got to tell you, she's on to something.
yeah, she
Mhm.
is. She's a special one. I saw her online like a few months before SOS and was like, hey, you gotta come on the panel. Let's get you there. I mean, similar to what Darshan's been saying, like you prepare while you're doing something else. Like I've bought real estate. It's very important to me. I think no matter what business you're in, real estate, you're in the real estate business. No matter what business you're in real estate. Even the Catholic Church is in real estate. Even McDonald's is in real estate. Um, Clearly, I would do YouTube podcast. Um, I think there's so many industries. Like everyone I meet that has a small business, my answer is like, if I were in your business, I would do this, and it would be something regarding or revolving around live streaming. Like if you're a barber, why don't you just put that shit on YouTube? Like all you're doing, like have conversations with your fucking customers and put that as a podcast. Like there's so much shit that is not being done in just about every vertical. I think for a lot of the reasons that we brought up here, people are scared to offend the wrong people. People are afraid to look stupid, this and that. I think you just go out there and do it. So it'd clearly be that, and I would continue doing real estate no matter what I'm doing, and then probably get involved in tech somehow. I've already been doing. I'm on a advisory board of a few tech companies that I think are promising. So that kind of stuff.
And Dan, also don't forget our investing strategies that we always talk about. You know, I mean, just being in the market and being diversified. I think
Crypto, yeah.
what I've heard from everybody on this panel right now is that diversification in terms of your skill set, not
100%.
not DEI, right? But diversified skill set is really what it
Yeah.
boils down to.
Yeah,
So here's
I
the
was
funny
gonna
thing,
say. Mhm.
by the way. I agree with you on diversification, but here's the funny thing I read. Millionaires diversify, billionaires concentrate. And I found that to be fascinating.
Have you not seen
but I'm
Berkshire
gonna say
Hathaway's
something about
portfolio?
it.
Come on, man.
And I'm
I
gonna
have seen
say
Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio.
It's
However,
everywhere,
Have you
Darshan.
seen BlackRock? BlackRock probably owns some research sites.
those are not individuals. I'm talking about individuals. So I read this where it was this billionaire ship company owner was like, you guys all spend time learning. And I'm saying this as someone who does do exactly the stuff I'm saying, right? But he goes, in the last 50 years, all I've done is build ships. That's all I know. But I know it better than anyone else in the world. And I know this industry back and forth. And that's how I made my billions. I was like, yeah shit.
But I actually agree with that. But it's like in the same industry or in the same area, diversifying and learning every single part of it.
Yeah.
So it's like you put your eggs in. It looks like in the same basket, but it's not, because you're multi-specialist in the same area. So I'm sure that guy can build any kind of chip in different ways. If that's what I think they do, right? So they become so specialized in doing that, but in the different ways to do it. I don't know if I was clear with that. So it's like, for example, in research, you can learn a lot in research and a lot of many different areas to the point that anything somebody asks you about it, you will know how to answer that question. So it's like a multi-specialist within the
A
same
generalist.
area. Exactly. So for me, that's something I could easily be a professional student. I love studying. I can easily read books every single day.
I was a
So
professional student.
yeah, I mean, I think I am somehow, but I could be a professional student, so that helps me to keep building, um, you know, more knowledge and more skills, right? But then at the same time, I work on myself to be to keep being with my feet on the floor and keep being a nice person with everybody, because even if I am in a bad situation, I will know how to handle my stress or my anxiety or whatever situation I am, right? So working on myself is very important to keep going. And then the last part is networking. I will always network, and for me that's a way to also get jobs. I know networking, people may think only going to LinkedIn and go and search people. No, you have to be unorthodox in that too. Like, go outside the box, and you can be also networking. Like, um, so one example I can put is my situation when I got to California. I choose California purposefully. So it's not that I just came here because, right? It was the last way part, or because it was an accident. I actually study the states and decide that it was California for many reasons. But then when I came here, I didn't know nobody. And the only way for me to land a job was to network. And only meeting one person led me to Dan and Chris. So how lucky I was. But that was because I was doing my due diligence to network and break in places that I was not invited. Right? For example, I went to um, to job fair for doctors. I say I want to work in pharmaceutical. The best person that could lead me or drive me or introduce me to somebody is gonna be a doctor. So I went to a job fair for doctors, and I started introducing myself to all the doctors possible and all the people in that job fair. So I think that will be my approach if I was looking for a job in a very difficult environment.
Yeah,
Very
there's a
nice.
book called The Go Giver. Me and Chris actually thought Monica was a spy. Little known fact.
Yeah, really.
Planted by someone. We had a site that was not doing well. Probably the only site we had that failed to this
How do
day
Mm.
you know
so
she's
far.
not a
Knock
spy?
on wood. I still don't know for sure, but at this point,
Oh
I
no,
think
I
she's
was
not.
not.
At this
No, I
point,
was never.
at this
No, I
point,
was never. I was not.
yeah,
Um,
she turned out to be like one of the best people that we got to know. And look, we're SOS
likewise.
co-founder, LICR.
Yeah, Monica is a
So,
very genuine, amazing person. I have to say so myself.
oh
Yeah,
wow, thank
we're
Yep.
you.
we're lucky.
Yep.
We're
I
lucky to
wasn't
know her.
fishing, but thank you for those.
We're lucky to know her. But what you said is like there's a good book called The Go Getter or The Go Giver, which is when you want something, you go out there instead of focusing on what you can get, focus on others what they need. Pretty soon reciprocity is a powerful thing. You're going to get yours back in like tenfold. So, I think that resonated with me what you were saying, Monica. But thank you guys. This was good. I think Guru After Dark still strong. Um yeah, you guys want to do this again?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Should we go out with the music?
I think so.
They were saying
Wishing
Copyright
who
violation?
everybody
everyone,
is.
yep, wishing everyone a great rest of your week and
It's
stay
gonna be a
strong.
cold summer, guys. Stay
Reach
strong.
out, connect with us on LinkedIn.
Bundle
Absolutely.
up.